Episode 3, Amelia Earhart versus Airport Security. Cleared for takeoff. Chapter 1. The Nightmare of Post-9/11 Security. Scene opens mid-chaos. The setting, a departure terminal that feels more like a psychological experiment. Bright fluorescent lighting, children crying, a flight to Denver delayed for the fourth time. Luggage clogs every aisle like modern art installations of collective despair.
We're here at Gate B36 with the legendary Amelia Earhart, aviation pioneer, transatlantic badass, and as of 5 minutes ago, enemy of the self-check-in kiosk.
Earhart, arms crossed, glaring at the kiosk.
That machine just told me I timed out. I crossed the ocean in a Lockheed Electra and didn't time out once. What am I supposed to do? Tickle it? Whisper my flight number seductively?
German Economist inspecting the kiosk.
It is frozen. Again. This software is less stable than the Deutschmark in 1923.
Okay, we'll go to a human agent.
Ah, yes, a human. Do they still have those in airports? Or have they all been replaced by talking vending machines that crash under pressure?
Cut to the security line, where a security officer is yelling, "Remove your shoes," like it's a battle cry. Amelia stands in line, baffled. Earhart to the officer.
Why? Are we sacrificing footwear to the gods of aviation now?
SAR agent monotone.
Ma'am, jacket, belt, goggles, all off.
Earhart stripping off her jacket reluctantly.
You know, if I'd wanted to do a striptease in front of strangers, I'd have stayed in showbiz. At least they tip.
Just a few more steps, then you get your dignity back. Kind of.
SAR agent holding up Amelia's compass.
Is this a weapon?
It's a compass. It tells you where you are. I'd offer to explain magnetic deviation, but I assume that's not covered in your training.
German Economist murmuring.
The Enlightenment is dead.
They finally make it past security. Amelia's trying to answer a question about the romance of early flight when the pass system blares over her.
Back in my time, flying was raw, it was dangerous, and
Attention all passengers. Flight 220 to Atlanta has been rerouted to Gate Z14. Z as in zebra. Please run.
run, run! What is this, an Olympic qualifying event? Who designed this terminal? Escher.
Honestly, probably.
I miss trains.
They settle at a bench near a coffee kiosk that smells like burned hope.
So let's try this again. Amelia, what did security look like back in your day?
Security? Darling, I once walked straight onto the tarmac, gave the plane a pat on the wing, and took off. No scanners, no swabs, no agents trying to confiscate my gum. If you could fly it, you were good to go. Nowadays, you need 5 forms of ID and a background check to order a bagel.
Would you say aviation has gotten safer?
Safer? Maybe, but also slower, sadder, and somehow more confusing than celestial navigation during a lightning storm. Back then, we risked our lives for the dream of flight. Now people risk missing their flight because someone forgot to remove their watch.
Airports today are not about flying. They are about waiting.
And stripping, don't forget the stripping.
Chapter 2. Modern Aviation versus the Spirit of Flight. Location. Terminal B, near a grimy charging station that doesn't work. The fluorescent lights buzz faintly overhead. A man has been loudly arguing with an airline app for 10 minutes. Across the hall, a vending machine eats someone's credit card. Earhart, the tech bro, and the German Economist slump into a row of vinyl seats with variable spring tension and a lingering scent of sadness.
Okay, let's reset. Amelia, now that you've survived the kiosk and TSA's greatest hits, let's talk about how flight has changed. What's it like seeing commercial aviation in its modern form?
Earhart goggles now hanging around her neck, hair slightly frazzled.
You mean this? This cattle drive with barcodes? It's not flying. It's digital purgatory with beverage carts. The only lift I've experienced today came from overpriced espresso. Flying used to be an act of daring, a statement. You strapped into a machine that barely obeyed the laws of physics and hurled yourself into the unknown. It was thrilling, it was dangerous, and by God, it was alive.
She gestures around the terminal with theatrical disgust.
Now, it's a sanitized, over-policed, soul-sucking conveyor belt of inconvenience. People board like zombies, shuffle into tiny seats, and spend the entire flight begging for 4 extra inches of legroom while trying to ignore the stranger chewing loudly beside them. There's no spark, no intimacy with the machine, just passive suffering.
Like most late-stage capitalism.
Yeah, okay, but it's safe. That's kind of the point. Isn't that better? No fiery crashes, no map-based navigation, just efficiency and Wi-Fi.
Efficiency?
She scoffs, gesturing wildly toward the nearby screen flashing system error. Please see agent.
I crossed an ocean with nothing but a compass, a pencil, and a map folded 5 times too many. My cockpit had dials, not passwords. The only system error I dealt with involved engines catching fire midair. And yet, somehow I got to my destination. Meanwhile, your miracle machines can't even keep a gate assignment consistent.
A man walks by, pushing a cart containing what appears to be a highly irritated peacock in a mesh harness. The bird emits a screech that echoes like a prehistoric warning. Amelia stops mid-rant.
Is that a bird?
Oh yeah, emotional support animal. It's legal, mostly.
That is a peacock with a vest inside an airport.
She turns slowly toward the others.
I navigated storms, stared down hurricanes, flew over open sea without radio contact, and that bird gets more support than I did crossing the Atlantic.
The peacock does not need courage, only documentation.
What happened to resilience? I flew with frostbite and a leaking fuel line, and now we're catering to birds with anxiety? Put that poor creature in the sky where it belongs.
You'll be glad to know it has a seat in Comfort Plus.
They wander past the glowing temple of consumerism that is the duty-free store. Earhart stops, mouth slightly open. Endless rows of liquor, perfume, watches, and chocolate pyramids tower before them.
This is a liquor store in an airport, and they let you buy this stuff before getting on the plane?
Yep, no taxes, the real miracle of modern aviation.
So let me get this straight. I can't bring nail clippers through security, but I can carry a gallon of single malt scotch onto a transatlantic flight because it's in a shiny bag?
Correct. It is a loophole designed for capitalism and international confusion.
This is the only improvement I've seen so far. Honestly, if I'd had access to this in 37, I'd have ditched the navigator, brought 2 bottles of bourbon, and made it halfway around the world on sheer morale.
They settle into another patch of seating near a noodle bar that may or may not be open. Amelia, still holding a small duty-free bottle of gin like a talisman, stares out the window toward a distant plane taxiing by.
So what was flying really like for you? Emotionally, I mean, the experience.
Flying was freedom. It was the closest I ever came to feeling limitless. You weren't part of a system, you were breaking through it. Just you, the machine, and the sky. When the engine thrummed beneath your feet and the horizon widened out in front of you, it wasn't about destinations. It was about escape, possibility. The roar of the engine meant something.
She pauses. A family of 6 wheels by with matching neck pillows and 3 crying toddlers.
Now you sit in a tube, breathing recycled air, wrapped in branded plastic, watching reruns until someone tells you to close your window shade. People used to look at the sky and dream. Now they board with grim acceptance, hoping the guy in 22B doesn't take off his shoes.
In this system, even the clouds are monetized.
Earhart swigging from her tiny gin bottle.
Romance is dead, and apparently it was replaced by a rewards program.
Chapter 3. Feminism at 35,000 feet.
Okay, serious shift. Amelia, let's talk about gender in aviation. You were the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. A literal icon. Today, people act like that ceiling's been shattered. Do you think we've made real progress?
Let me put it this way. When a woman walks into a cockpit today, people still do a double take. That's not progress. It's performance. If you board a plane and see a male pilot, no one claps, no one gasps. It's background noise, normal. But the moment it's a woman, people start whispering like they've seen a unicorn flying the damn aircraft.
She shakes her head, clearly frustrated.
We keep being labeled female pilot, as if our gender is an adjective that comes before our job title. And the worst part, we're supposed to smile and take it as a compliment. Wow, you're a lady and you fly? Gee, thanks. Next, you'll tell me I'm good at arithmetic, too.
A giant digital screen flickers to life behind them, showing a slow-motion airline ad. A radiant female pilot steps confidently into the cockpit while a child waves from the terminal. The airline's slogan, "She can fly." Inspiring music plays.
There it is, tokenism with a filter. They stick one woman in a commercial, give her perfect eyeliner and a clipboard, and call it feminism.
I mean, visibility matters, right?
Only if it leads somewhere. Look, I've seen the numbers. 5%. That's how many pilots today are women. 5. That's not a pipeline problem. That's a systemic indifference problem. They're happy to use us as symbols, but not to invest in our futures.
German Economist nodding.
Symbolic representation often replaces structural reform. It is cheaper.
Exactly. Throw a lady on a billboard, throw a scholarship in a press release, and pat yourself on the back for being empowering. Meanwhile, the actual flight schools still whisper doubts about whether we can handle the pressure. Spoiler, we can. We just also have to handle the pressure of constantly proving it.
So what would real progress look like?
More women flying, and not just because we're exceptional. I'm tired of being the exception. I want women in cockpits not because they're record breakers, but because it's Tuesday and it's their job. I want little girls to look at a pilot and not think, wow, that's rare, but just cool. Maybe I'll do that too. I never set out to be a symbol. I just wanted to fly. But history made me into a first, and I don't want to be the last one to feel that weight.
The future should not rely on martyrs.
A sudden flurry of noise. A gate nearby makes the final boarding call. Tech bro leaps up, frantic.
That's us, Gate A23.
They sprint through the terminal. Amelia's goggles bounce on her chest as they weave past a stroller jam, a pyramid of neck pillows, and a man loudly threatening to leave a Yelp review on this airline's soul. They reach the gate. The door is closed. The plane is still right there, attached to the jet bridge. A gate agent bored, chewing gum shrugs without looking up.
Sorry, folks, doors closed. FAA regulations.
But the plane's right there.
No exceptions.
Amelia steps back, staring at the aircraft like it's mocking her. A moment of stunned silence. Then she laughs. Big, raw, uncontrollable laughter that echoes through the terminal.
I crossed the Atlantic in a single-engine plane with half a map and no backup, and now I can't get on a flying bus because I was 30 seconds late?
Welcome to modern air travel.
German Economist already turning.
Shall we get a drink?
Earhart grinning, goggles in hand.
Hell yes, let's find an open bar or a plane I can steal.
And that's all for this week on the Slightly Deceased podcast, where Amelia Earhart went head-to-head with TSA and discovered that turbulence is now mostly emotional.
I have seen less chaos during currency collapse.
Next week, we pivot from politics to pheromones in Episode 4, Charles Darwin on Tinder, Survival of the Hottest.
Spoiler, symmetry still wins, and also abs.
Join us in a co-working cafe in Bali where Darwin faces his toughest evolutionary challenge yet, online dating. Bios, duck-face selfies, and one man in a full eggplant costume. It's natural selection, but with Wi-Fi and red flags. Don't miss it. Same podcast feed, new emotional support Peacock.